Hi, my name is Jeff Bassey, and I welcome you once again to our session on team leadership. We did a part one of this session and have to look at the second part today. I closed part one on some opening questions. How much we know our team members, why they behave the way they do, and most importantly, what we can do to improve their behavior to enhance productivity. At the workplace, people work in with different value systems, different attitudes, different expectations, different backgrounds. And probably what makes managing people most difficult is the fact that we all appreciate things from different perspectives. Now, in our next tape, which is on people management, we will take time to explain the different facets of human behavior, why this person behaves that way, that person behaves the other way. Now, I have heard a lot of managers, team leaders complain why team members behave the way they do, and I've always been quick to remind them, if they have ever thought that the team members also wonder why they also behave the way they do. As human beings, the reasons we disagree, the reasons we quarrel, the reasons we sometimes at loggerheads with each other or one another is simply because we all appreciate the same things from two different perspectives. So sometimes in order to work with people well, it is expected that you try to understand things from people's perspectives before seeking to be understood. Now, we can largely put all our team members at workplace into three broad categories. The first group I choose to call the complainers. Complainers are about 30% of almost every team. So that if you have a 10-member team, you are likely to have 3 of the 10 people who are complainers. Now, who are these people who are called the complainers? These are people who bastardize every decision that is coming from the team or the team leader. They disagree with targets. They do not understand why others must kill themselves for the organization and what have you. They are simply people we call the difficult people in the organization. Now, many team leaders are very quick to write off these people. No, they must be managed and not written off. I represent the complainer with that paddle in your vehicle you so much need, called the brakes. Now, what does the brakes do for the car? The brakes slows you down to negotiate that curve. The brake slows you down so you can go through that pothole, so you can sometimes come to a final halt. There are times when you are preparing to go to a meeting as a leader and you are particularly thinking about a particular team member who is likely to punch a hole in your argument or presentations. And so because of that person, that particular individual, you are likely to get it right. I have had the rare opportunity of being invited by many churches to speak at events of theirs. And when one church invites me, I sleep, wake up, carry my Bible, go say anything, they will clap for you. Because the members are not used to listening or hearing any hard stuff. Another church invites me, and for 3 days, I would lock up myself in the room comparing notes, because you can't just get to that particular church platform, say anything and get away with it. Now, the preparation I put into my presentation from church to church is largely influenced, to a very large extent, by who my listeners are. So you realize that when sometimes team members can be tough, sometimes a team member disagrees with you, and that is why you go back to the drawing board and refine it. But largely, we all as team leaders would rather we have people who agree with our decisions rather than bastardize and undermine or discredit everything that the team comes along with. There's a second group of people. Unfortunately, they are the largest team members. We call them the collaborators. Who are they? Nice guys. They don't complain. They are obedient to the leader's directives, but they lack initiative. These are people who, until the leaders say act, they will never act. They will never take any initiative on their own. Sometimes I liken them to the wheelbarrow. So long as you are pushing, it's moving. So long as you stop pushing, it stop moving. These are people who you ask that they come to work at a time earlier than regular working time. And when they get in there, they will never do anything until the leader himself comes to tell them what to do. They usually do not have opinions. So you tell them, can we use method A to solve this problem? Yes, boss, I think we should use method A. Go and come. Can we use method B? Yes, boss, I think B is good. You can come a third time. That on a very careful analysis, you have realized that method C is the best. You tell you, yes, you are the boss, anything you say, we do. They are just followers who lack initiative. Unfortunately, a lot of leaders tend to be very comfortable with this group of people called the collaborators. Why? They don't challenge your decisions. They kowtow to anything you say. You don't struggle to whip up obedience from them. But there is a group we call the high flyers. The guys who disagree with the leader but put a better alternative on the table. The guys who stretch the group. When the leader says that we want to improve productivity by 20%, he says, yes, boss, I've been thinking about it. I think we can do 30%. Why can't we? Now, normally, the high flyers are enemies to the complainers. Whilst when the leader comes with, let's say, a new target, for instance, whilst the high flyer is saying, yes, I think we can do it, it should have been higher. As for the complainer, as for the collaborator, whether you improve, you maintain, or whatever, he's in. And then the complainer is like, wow, why do you want this improved? So whilst the high flyer is trying to, give reasons why the production target should be higher, the complainer, of course, that's what they know how to do, is simply complaining. Is the company for your father? Why are you killing yourselves for? Now, I always want team leaders to keep eye closely on the complainers and the collaborators. Because normally the complainers will recruit the collaborators to join them into thinking why they should not overkill themselves for organization. Now, why is it important that the team leader understands everyone in the team, whether the team member is a high flyer, is a collaborator, or it's a complainer, just so you know how to manage all of them. One of the banks in Ghana here invited me to engage their managers, and the CEO, the chief executive officer, asked me, is it possible to convert all your workers into high flyers? Deep down in my heart, I know that will be quite difficult, but we give it a shot to reduce the number of the non-high flyers to a negligible number or an insignificant number. But sometimes, no matter what you do, you would have a team member or two who will either be a collaborator or a complainer. Now, what does it help you do as the leader of the team? To position you to know how to manage every member of the team. Now, if the leader were to be traveling, for instance, all you need to do when it is the high flyer is give him directives how you want things done. Chances are that just go to bed, he will fix it. Now, when you get a collaborator in charge of that job, be sure that you are always calling him. Now, these are people who only put in their best when they know you are checking. I mean, generally, people don't do what you expect. People do what you inspect. Once he knows you are checking, he'll be doing. If you are a leader who doesn't check, he also goes to bed. If you travel and you delegate to a complainer, I bet you got to fix an alternative because you can return and be surprised that it's not done at all. Now, providing leadership for a group of people, for a team, I dare say, is a privileged opportunity. Leadership is not a right. Leadership is a privilege because the leader only succeeds when the people he leads agree that he does. Now, if all cabinet ministers were to go into a meeting with one agendum, the president must fail. I tell you, he will fail before the word go, because it is the ministers who are the forefront of carrying out the president's directives and be sure that they implement them and what have you. So a leader only succeeds when the people he leads agree that he does. That is why sometimes it is important that we lead with the heart Now, if I say leading with the heart, I mean being concerned with the non-work related activities that affect your staff. If it is a work related activity, that project that we have to do the feasibility studies to know whether we are investing in it or not, he knows that is what the business is there for. What about that wedding that team member is supposed to be having? What about that ailment that had befell that team member of yours? What about that financial situations? Team members tend to be more committed when superiors or the leaders tend to show concern for non-work related activities that affect them. Now, I want to share quickly with you the 5 laws of team building, the 5 laws that underpin team building. The first one is what we call the law of purpose and vision. The law of purpose and vision. People don't come together for fun. People don't gather for fun. If there is no reason why people must gather, they don't place premium on coming to work. Now, I have come to realize in many organizations I have consulted for, both in Ghana here and outside of Ghana, that sometimes some workers only pretend to work and employers pretend to pay them. They don't have any idea where the organization is going. You walk into an organization to conduct a training, and right at the reception, you meet some of the staff, and you ask them, what is the vision of this company? And then they tell you, well, I am only here to pick costs for the company. And sometimes they tell you, oh, in this company, they don't. And I'm like, are you part of the organization? Yes. Why are you using the word they? The answer is one and simple. They are alienated from the direction or where the company is going. Once you want to be a good team leader, the first rule is that you must always espouse the purpose, our mission. Why are we here? And how far do we intend to go as a company? And that is what we would call the vision. The second law of team building is the law of integrity and trust. You see, there's a fine difference between workers and followers. A worker is one who is just looking for food to eat. So whether the company is going somewhere or not, so long as at the end of a 30-day his paycheck will come, he's fine. So when the company have any challenges, the first thing he thinks about is how to write a new CV, book appointment for a new interview, pack his baggage and go. But when followers are involved in the organization, and the organization is going down and the team is going down and we are not achieving our purpose, what do? They find ways and means to help the leader find solutions to the problems so we can go. There is a fine difference between a worker and a follower. For you to convert your workers into followers, you must have integrity and trust. You see, the moment the leader have integrity issues, you don't keep your word, you are not honest and all of that. When the leader begins to suffer integrity problems, the followers will suffer commitment problems. I'll say that again. The moment leaders suffer integrity challenges, followers begins to suffer commitment challenges. The third rule or law of team building is the law of charisma and motivation. Listen, folks, there is a sleeping lion in every human being. A sleeping lion in every human being. And it takes leaders to wake those lions up so they can roar. Ask a pregnant woman, 5-month-old pregnancy, run. She will quickly remind you of her pregnancy while she cannot run. But when you release a wild dog after her, she would manage to run. It is only in the face of challenges, that people sometimes can move. Some of the time, your followers do not even know their innate abilities until you point it to them, until you stretch them, until you challenge them and bring the best out of them. So followers look up to the leader. If the leader is not motivated, take it from me, the followers will not be motivated, because leadership is infectious, it is repetitive. People do what they see the leader do. The last but one rule or law of team building is the law of communication and information flow. The law of communication and information flow. People always want to know what is going on. The moment people are denied information on that project you are running, on that product you are selling, or that service you are rendering, they don't feel a part of the team. And they engage your customers and make a lot of mistakes, and then we miss our target. Communication and information flow is a key ingredient to putting the team together, so everybody gets to know where we are going. Otherwise, what they normally say to themselves is, well, let them do it and let us see. That is the rank and file workers who are referring to the management team. The last law or rule of team leadership, the last law of team building, is what we call the law of respect and inclusion. The law of respect and inclusion. Every human being likes to be respected. I always remind managers when I get opportunity to train that the fact that you have bought someone's 8 hours a day does not mean you have bought the person's life. I say that again. You can buy people's time, 8 hours a day. You haven't bought a person's life. That driver you are so disrespecting, that cleaner you are disrespecting, is the family head in his home. Everybody else is looking up to him and what have you. And in the first part of this presentation, I've already convinced you into why every portfolio is important. If the role is not important, why did you even create it in the first place? If you want to succeed as a team leader, you got to pay attention to the law of purpose and vision, the law of integrity and trust, the law of charisma and motivation, the law of communication and information, the law of respect and inclusion. And trust me, as we adhere to some of these laws, or as we follow these laws, people will follow you. I thank you so very much for your time, taking time to watch out this video. Look out for our next episodes that runs on people management skills. Thank you.